guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Montu Motors in Oldsmar, Florida, and guess what? As soon as I saw this car when I was rolling up, I was like, I need to feature this car on Rady's Rides. This is a 1994 Toyota Celica, but it's not like any other Celica you've ever seen. This is a Celica GT-Four. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this particular Toyota Celica. So as many of you are aware, there's that 25-year rule. Now all these old JDM classics that were never available for sale here in the United States can be imported to our country, and Montu Motors is one of those industry leaders that's been doing the business since that law was put into place. For so long, it's always been about the GTR, the Toyota Supra, but this car has been a little gem that I think has been overlooked. If any of you are fans of World Rally Racing, you would know that in the WRC, they use cars that are production cars meant to go rally racing. Now, depending on the class, they have certain rules. Back in 1994, the way it worked was you had to have a car that was homologated. What that meant is that you had to produce a certain number of units of the car for you to take it to the World Rally Championship level. Toyota did the business all the way back in the late 80s, going into the 1990s with the Toyota Celica. And this one in particular, this 1994 GT-Four, is that homologation special. So what you're gonna find is underneath the special bodywork, underneath the hood, is gonna be a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine and all-wheel drive, because that's what the GT-Four part is, 4 meaning all-wheel drive. And you know what? Toyota won a lot of championships and the World Rally Championship with a very famous driver by the name of Carlos Sainz, and really was doing the business. Today, in 2019, guess what? They're still doing the business with the Toyota Yaris, but nothing screams to me classic JDM Toyota than the Celica. So let's go ahead, dive into this 1994 Celica GT-Four. Right off the bat, I love the lines of the Celica back then. You had the 4 round headlights, such an iconic look. When I was back in high school, this is what was hot back then, when you looked at Supra and then this car was underneath. And that's why today I really feel like Toyota needs to bring the Celica back, especially something like this. Love the headlight design. I really like the way the front fascia integrates with the headlights. When you come up onto the hood, you'll notice this is a special hood specifically designed for the GT-Four. You have a central heat extractor here. You have 2 vents on the back portion of the hood and this center vent. Very unique, and that's gonna separate you from the rest of the crowd when you're going to your car meets or your coffee and car events and whatnot. But let's focus back on what's going on in the front end. This lower section has been added. So this has had some extra bits added to whoever has previously owned this. But this has recently just come off the ship from Japan. You can see the lower fog lamps integrated into the lower grille area. I also love this center grille. This is Toyota Celica, man. I really dig this car. So many Supras you see. How many GT-Four Celicas are you gonna see? Not many. But this extra piece, it's clean, it's tasteful. Would I have added it? No. But you know what? It works well with this particular one, especially this color. Let's go ahead and go around the bend here, and we're gonna see some things that are different. So another thing that's been upgraded by the previous owner are these wheels. The style is very clean. It's a flat silver wheel. I like the way that it pops with the paint job. Nice setup. This is a 17-inch wheel. So when we talk about size of the wheel, that's the diameter, 17-inch diameter. You have the upgraded calipers for the GT-Four specific. That's gonna give you extra braking capability, but just a nice, and I love the way the car sits too. Now, as we go down the side, you have your corner side light here on the fender. Very nice overall shape to the Celica. This one has the sunroof. Another piece down here is this lower sill extension really goes well with that front extra piece that's been added. You see the Celica graphic on the door. Really, really cool. That's what this thing is all about, is really that 1990s style and flair. As we work into that rear quarter window, just a classic look. There's nothing else I can say. Now, when we get to this end of the business, this is stock. This is a GT4. There's our logo embossed GT4 all-wheel drive, higher spoiler. So if you know your Celicas, usually the spoiler on a Celica sits a little bit lower, sort of like a baby Supra. This one being a homologation special, they wanted to get the spoiler up to give more downforce. And if you look, it does have a nice kick to it to where this piece is functional at speed. As we come around the tail end of the business, I like just how clean the rear bumper area is. You got a single exhaust, 3-inch exhaust outlet on the back. Love the Celica taillights. It just brings back so many memories. That GT4. Now, if you're wondering, here in the United States, we had the Celica All-Track. It wasn't like this, though. Speaking of this GT4, though, let's go ahead, pop the hood, and check out that Rally homologation engine. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on this 1994 Celica GT4. There is the special magic that we didn't get here in the United States. That is a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, 252 horsepower, 225 pound-feet of torque. That is so good for back in 1994. Even to this day, this thing is doing the business with the power. It runs 16 pounds of boost out of that turbocharger. All-wheel drive, like I said. It has an air-to-water intercooler. This car also featured a super strut suspension system that was designed just for this car for that homologation reason. It's mated to a 5-speed manual transmission, and it weighs around 3,064 pounds. What's wonderful about this engine, it hasn't had a lot of things changed on it, which is great. It's got nice patina. This is a car, remember, 1994, I definitely have some patina on me. This engine has the patina. It shows that it hasn't been cracked open over and over again. And wait until we take it for a spin. It runs really, really well. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and fire up this GT4 Celica. All right, guys, we're inside the 1994 Celica GT4. You're gonna be shocked at how original the inside of this car is. Now remember, 1994, it's gonna show some age. Now you're probably asking, well, Joe, I like this car. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the sunroof shade, just a little vitamin D on me. You're saying, Joe, I like this JDM Classic. I wanna park it in my garage. This one has a price. Obviously, contact Sam at Montu Motors. They're working magic here. $19,000 for this Celica GT4. I promise you, you are not going to run into many of these. You'll see many more R32s and R33s and Supras than before you see this. But let's see what we're working with. To the door panels, you can see the styling for 1994. We're comparing apples to apples. It does have some wear on it, but that's to be expected. The nice thing though, it's all original. Hasn't been tampered with, hasn't been all cut up and chopped up. You come to the dash, I really miss these old dashes. So far forward, it's got such a flow to it from one side to the other, and then these seats. Crazy pattern. This screams, if you want to know what was the 1990s like sitting in a car, this is it. This is the pattern. You know what? These seats actually have a pretty good amount of bolstering. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom, but they don't squeeze you too bad, which is great. The bottom portion could have a little bit more bolstering, but you can see how everything, just like the Supra, everything is driver focused. The whole dash is turned this way. It does have a different stereo with an actual tape player. You got your cassette tapes, get those out, we'll listen to them. AC works in this car, and here's that 5-speed transmission. Nice short throws for the time period, and you could really feel that engagement. Everything else is complete. The armrest opens up. You got the good old-fashioned e-brake. Why don't you come on over to the business end and I'll show you behind the wheel of this Celica GT4. All right, guys, business end behind the wheel of this Celica. What I love, it's nothing but the business. You have an original steering wheel, no Bluetooth, no cruise control buttons and all that kind of stuff. It's got a horn, that works. But everything else is clean off this steering wheel. I wish it was a little bit thicker, but you know what? I love the simplicity. This is what the 1990s were all about. Same with the gauges. You have a speedometer in the center. You have a tachometer that goes up to about 6,800 RPM before you hit redline. A very simple analog boost gauge, coolant gauge, and your fuel gauge. Other than that, that's all you got. I wish they would have put the tachometer in the center. For me, this being a homologation special, that would have been really cool. But you know what? Pedal position is great, especially for heel-toe downshifting. I mean, that gas pedal is so perfectly angled so that when you're on the brakes, you could blip that throttle to go up and down the gears in this 5-speed. And I love looking out over the custom hood on this thing. So unique. But why don't we go ahead? I think it's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this Celica GT-Four homologation special for a drive. All right, guys, we're in the 1994 Toyota Celica GT-Four. Just left Montu Motors. I tell you, this car, it's amazing to drive because of the experience. These cars are all about the experience, and just so wonderful to have these opportunities to be able to share with you. But I'm telling you right now, this car being a 94, very, very tight feeling, and the steering is so precise and spot on. It's really something that feels really, really good. We got the AC blowing, temperatures are looking good. I mean, this really is a cream puff that they found here at Montu Motors. We just made a U-turn. I'm in first gear, on throttle. I'm telling you, for a car this age, it does get up and go. It really does. It's smooth. You feel all the different sensations, and that's what's great about driving these cars, is that it's like driving a mini time capsule. They just got this car just the other day, and to have it on Rady's Rides, this is why I think Toyota needs to bring back the Celica. And how cool would it be to have an all-wheel drive new Celica? I think that would fall nicely in their lineup with the rear-wheel drive Supra. You could still have the 86, and then you have an all-wheel drive turbocharged Celica. That sounds fun to me. But steering, like I said earlier, steering feel is great. Even over these bumps, everything is rock solid. Montu Motors finds great cars to bring to the United States, and that's what makes the whole process so easy, is they have very good vehicles for you to choose from, whether you want something super unique like the Celica GT-Four, or they have a plethora of GTRs and other cars. But 1990s never felt so better. You have all the controls for the door windows, door locks is all very low in here, and you're sitting pretty low in this car, which is, at least from the driver's standpoint, makes you feel very good, because that's going to lower the center of gravity. Everything lower in the car is going to help with overall feel and how the car handles. And this being a homologation special, you know, handling is at the forefront, especially when you're going through those rally stages. But I'm just blown away that the temperature gauge is in the perfect position, even with the AC on, and the car just drives great. Very smooth. Clutch pickup is nice. It's not some crazy race clutch that you're gonna have to fear. So that makes it a little bit better to know that this is a car you could drive on a regular basis, and you're not gonna have to be freaked out about stalling it and whatnot. I am gonna go obviously slower over these speed humps. The first gear, second gear, third gear, really nice. It drives really great. Just got to slow down over the speed humps. Love driving these right-hand drive cars. What a blast. just so glad to be able to share it with you. All the sounds, this thing makes it all perfect. And the engine just runs so smooth, so smooth. It's got a nice grumble out of the back. One thing I actually liked about it personally is I like a little bit deeper sound, even though this is an inline four. It just gives it a totally different personality. And this car for $19,000 has a ton of personality, I could promise you that. Really amazing just how the car handles, how you feel when you're behind the wheel of the car. It's nothing but the business, like I said. I tell you, if I had the space in my garage, I think I would buy this one. I really like how unique it is. You just don't see these that often. All right, guys, little acceleration test. Not gonna go too crazy off the line, but get on it. I tell you, man, driving this car is a blast. Using my left hand to shift, it's just such a different experience. It's so wonderful. You need to get a chance to come down to Oldsmar, Florida, and get to Montu Motors and check this car out. It's a blast. Brakes feel great. The feedback, you know, I think the perfect way to describe this car, O'Neill said, is it's just raw. It's just a very raw sensation. You don't have all this technology muting everything out, and that for me is what makes this a car enthusiast dream come true, because you can have the full personality of this car just like it was back in 1994 right now. But I'm telling you, she's got plenty of get up and go. If you're worried, oh, it only has 252 horsepower, it feels good. The way the boost comes in is great, and I'm just in third gear and it pulls from third gear like a freight train. I really, really like the setup of this car and the way it handles. You got that all-wheel drive gripping you to the road like Gorilla Glue, and you could be driving in a homologation special that Toyota used to win World Rally Championships with. I mean, how awesome is that? God, I love driving this car. Sounds, the feeling, grabbing a steering wheel with no buttons on it besides a horn. I mean, that itself is an experience with the way today's cars are. But we're gonna go ahead, wrap this one up, and we'll get back to Montu Motors, so we'll see you in a second. All right, guys, it's been another amazing day here at Montu Motors. Gotta give a huge thank you and a shout out to Jeremy, Sam, and Jack, allowing Rady's Rides full access to their JDM Classics as soon as they import them. Definitely give them a call, because they could pretty much get you anything that falls within that 25-year law limitations. But if these are the types of things that you like to see on Rady's Rides, and I'm hoping it is, because I love coming to Montu Motors and bringing you all their JDM Classics that they have, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making this great content just for you, click the link in that description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Every little bit helps. Got to give it up to O'Neill. This was his first time at Montu Motors. I had to get him a bib. He was drooling all over the place because of all these JDM Classics that he has dreamed of seeing in person. Now he gets to see over and over and over again. So thank you, O'Neill, for not crapping yourself. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.